Welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I am Joe Catalano, and on today's program, we get to chat with Ron Iacobucci from the Quincy Workforce Development Department. First, though, we do check out weather and news for you. Currently in Quincy, kind of gray, damp out there. It is 54 degrees right now. We'll see off and on rain and showers throughout the rest of the day with highs in the upper 50s. More rain will arrive late tonight. Temperatures dip into the mid-40s. And then we've got a nor'easter on tap beginning tomorrow with wind-swept rain. Highs tomorrow around 60 degrees. The storm will continue into at least Wednesday morning. Might taper off in the afternoon Wednesday. Highs in the low 50s. Still rather gray and damp here on Thursday, with the high Thursday only about 54 degrees. Possibly some more rain again on Friday. Right now it's gray and damp, 54 here in Quincy. In the news today, the current owners of most of the property down at the former Quincy shipyard are open to redevelopment at that site. Speaking on this program recently, Quincy Chamber of Commerce President Tim Cahill said that Dan Quirk and Jay Cashman don't want to see residential development. They do want to use that property's waterfront location as a benefit.
Want to keep it an active seaport. They're not looking to put condominiums in, they're not looking to put housing in. They want to keep it active. They want to build things there. And Jay Cashman's already doing that. He does a robust business, marine business, and he needs the shipyard to do that. And Dan Quirk is, potentially could be in the same boat if they're able to attract us, a submarine builder and a waterplane, basically. So it's a real advantage, and what's attracting them and what will ultimately determine whether they both come is, can they get access to really good young talent, engineers, aerospace engineers, coders, people that will come if the mix is right. If they feel like this is a good place to live, a good place to eat, a place where they can do everything that they can do in Boston, but cheaper.
Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch has also said he expects plans for future development at the shipyard site to be made public very soon. He does say the area will require some pretty major investment in infrastructure before any development can take place. The mayor also says he'll be going before the city council this winter and be asking for more money to create a new Quincy animal shelter. Mayor Thomas Koch says he hopes construction on the new shelter can begin next spring.
It's been quite a process. The land we chose is very challenging, so the conditions, the site conditions and so forth add to the challenge and the burden. But additionally, over the last year, the cost of everything has gone through the roof. So we've had to go through it a couple of more times to see how we can make it as efficient as we can. But I do expect we're going to have to go to the city council for additional funding.
Mayor says it has been difficult to try and find a temporary home for the animal shelter while the new shelter is being built. The new shelter will be located off Quarry Street, right across from the new dog park. City Council previously approved money to design the new shelter, but not for construction. The current shelter on Broad Street will be torn down to make way for the new Quincy Police Station. Well, a Quincy playground has been rededicated in memory of a Vietnam War veteran who used to play there as a child. The Lawrence Grenham Playground on Macy Street out on Howe's Neck recently underwent a major overhaul after his childhood friend, James Fratellillo, worked with veterans groups and the city on that project. Officials, family, friends, veterans, and others all gathered for that rededication ceremony recently. Fratellillo said it was a fitting tribute to his friend who gave his life for his country.
Back in the late 60s, there was much unrest about the Vietnam War. For Larry and most of us who volunteered to serve, we weren't caught up in the protests of the Vietnam War. Nor were we terribly impressed or swayed by the politics. For us, it was about serving our country, paying our dues, just as our fathers did before us. It was just simply answering the call.
Grenham and Fratellillo left high school early to join the Army and fight in the Vietnam War. So Grenham's family received his high school diploma posthumously during that ceremony. The park now features a granite monument with a bronze plaque and a picture of Grenham. Grenham's sister-in-law and niece also attended that ceremony. Well, Quincy accountant Dolly DePisa has won the Quincy Christmas Parade theme contest for the third year in a row. The parade committee selected DePisa's entry of "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year" as the theme for this year's parade. DePisa also won the contest in 2018 and 2019. Of course, the parade was canceled last year due to the pandemic. The 68th annual parade will be held on Sunday, November 28th at noon. The Christmas celebrations will begin Friday the 26th with the turning on of the Christmas lights in Quincy Center, followed by Santa's parachuting into Pageant Field on the 27th, weather permitting. Then the parade on the 28th. DePisa will win a prize and have the opportunity to ride in the parade in an open-air convertible once again. Coming up, Ron Iacobucci is here from the Quincy Workforce Development Department. That's next. Welcome back. The unemployment rate here in Massachusetts just released back on Friday, a little over 5%. It's pretty similar here in Quincy, too. So we're going to get a little update on kind of the workforce situation now here in Quincy and across Massachusetts and what it might look like in the future. From Ron Iacobucci is here, the Executive Director of the City of Quincy's Workforce Development Department. Good to see you in person, Ron.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I checked last time. It was July that we chatted.
Yep.
Things were not so good back then in the employment world. Mm-hmm. How are they looking now?
Well, most of our workers have been doing so remotely for the past 16 months. We came back in a hybrid for the last few months, and now we're back. This is our third week back full-time in the Career Center.
Okay.
So we could take walk-ins. It's good news and bad news. I mean, you've got you've got the staff is present, but the people aren't coming in.
Now, I remember you were very concerned
I know,
that when you were first opening your doors that you'd be inundated.
Inundated.
Didn't happen.
Inundated. Well, there are over 10 million jobs that are open around the country, and 7.7 million people are still unemployed.
Okay.
So it doesn't add up. But there are reasons for it. You still have issues with child care. You still have issues with health concerns. You have all these situations that are going on with vaccinations that are forcing people not to come back or to leave. They hit a record, 4 million people, actually they call it the Great Resignation, actually resigned from their jobs.
That's right.
So you see a lot of that playing out locally, where people that were in jobs before the pandemic don't really want to go back to those jobs. They want better hours, they want better pay. Those are the people that really we need to bring into the center, because we have training dollars and we could train them and raise them up so they could get better jobs.
Okay.
But people are coming. They're coming virtually. So we see about maybe as many as 90 people a week, but it's all virtual.
Virtual.
It's all virtual,
okay.
Yeah. So you have a handful of people that are still coming into the Career Center. A lot of people probably don't know we're open, and so obviously
we're hoping to change that.
We have to open to change that.
Yeah.
But obviously we need to be promoting more of that. We need to be changing the way we functioned in the past. Unemployment drove people into the Career Center because they were sanctioned. If you didn't come into the Career Center and go to a Career Center seminar and go through a review, your benefits were cut off.
Okay.
Well, that didn't happen during COVID,
Right.
so everybody was exempt from having to do that. So that usually drives the people into our Career Center, and it's still not happening because most of those people now that had unemployment have exhausted their unemployment. Right. They're not collecting anymore, but yet they're still not working. So that we need to be doing more in terms of outreach and connecting into the community, and that's what we intend to do, and raise the awareness of the fact that there are good jobs out there. There are training opportunities out there, and we need to be connecting to people now, because they are at a tremendous advantage right now in negotiating better jobs, better wages, and getting that training than they would if they waited for the rest of the people to kind of catch up.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's and it's going to be a process. Kind of playing all this out for it to work.
So, I mean, they're probably living off maybe some of the federal aid that they received, some savings that they have, but they don't want to deplete those and then say,
exactly.
oh, now I have to go and get a job.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So we encourage people that are listening to call the main number, which is the 617-745 4,000 number. That is the pipeline into, coming to a Career Center seminar. That's the pipeline into then being assessed and then, beginning your work with us to get you connected to, so employers are connecting to those job seekers and we're filling those jobs.
Okay. Where are you located? What are your hours?
1515 Hancock Street. We're there from 8:30 to 4:30 every day. We do break for an hour for lunch.
Okay.
We do have to feed the troops, and it's tough because, and I know a lot of people practice that in terms of trying to fill people. We have some really great people up at the front desk, and they need a break, and we want to keep people that are the counselors working on site, dealing with the more high-end type of stuff with resumes and helping with career planning and that sort of thing. So we don't want to pull people off. So yeah, 8:30 to 4:30, 12 to 1 will be closed.
Okay.
You could connect to us also virtually.
So you're going to keep the virtual option open?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the people that need to come into the Career Center are probably people that have struggled with English.
Yes.
And also have struggled with the fact that they can't deal with a computer.
Okay,
So
sure.
those are the people that we'd love to see come in. Most of the people that have been coming in the last few weeks have been dealing with unemployment issues. That's still a problem.
Still a problem,
Still a
really?
big problem,
Okay.
in terms of resolving some of those cases.
Some of the fraud
and,
cases.
And we're limited in terms of what we can do because we can't do everything like
well,
an
the state should
unemployment
be
office.
fixing that, right? Not you.
Well, the
I remember
state-
last time you were here, you put out a call to the governor saying, Governor Baker, if you're listening, please fix unemployment. Did he fix it?
Did I do that?
I guess he wasn't listening.
Well, no, they're listening. They opened up a reemployment office in downtown Boston.
Okay.
There's only one. And again, I think a lot of people don't know that office is open and it exists because
we're
last
hoping
time
to dispel that rumor
dispel
too.
that
Yeah.
rumor too. Yeah. So the last time I was there, when they opened up about a month or so ago, I did a little visit and realized that some people were coming from as far away as Holyoke to be able to
If
get an
that's the only
appointment to come into
one.
that office.
Yeah,
I know.
okay.
So there's still literally tens of thousands of people that are struggling with benefits that aren't receiving them anymore. And even though, as you mentioned at the beginning, the unemployment rate is getting lower.
5.2% September.
I still get concerned about that participation rate.
Okay.
That's the thing, because people are dropping off of unemployment.
Right.
They're not being counted in that rate anymore, but yet they're still not back to work.
That's a great point.
That's-
okay. What do you
and-
think the true number is, Ron?
It could be as high as maybe double what it is.
Is that right?
It could be, yeah.
All right.
I mean, if you count the labor force that's not participating, by collecting those benefits,
Yeah.
they're not being counted in that rate.
Okay.
There are still a large number of people that are out there that are not working
Okay.
and need to get back into the workforce. But to your point,
Yeah.
they did receive some really good benefits that kept, I think, people going. It was really important
Yes.
to do that.
Yeah.
And that could maybe account for why a lot of people, aren't going back to work so fast. But this is the time to be doing it. I'll tell you a funny story about somebody who was on PUA, the pandemic unemployment insurance. Those are the gig workers, the contracted workers, the self-employed workers. They usually, they struggle all the time to find work and to get paid, right? So that's a constant struggle. So one particular fellow said to me the other day, he said, I kind of like getting a steady check all the time. He says, this unemployment thing has been great for me. He says, because I get a regular check every week, and I want to go back to a job where I get a regular check every week.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
you have a lot of those folks that, and there are 29,000 of them around the South Shore right now, that we're in that position that their benefits have stopped, and they probably want to come back and get better jobs. So that's our job now, is to outreach to those people,
Connect
let them
with
know
them.
what the opportunities are, and try to get them into training so they can get a better job.
All right, so an opportunity for
Yeah.
them, certainly. Some good
Definitely.
could come out of this. You've brought a lot of statistics today that we want to show folks, just to get a little snapshot of what the current labor workforce looks like here in Quincy. On the South
one
Shore.
of the things that we
so
do.
let's take a look at the first one.
Yeah,
Ronnie,
one of the
so
things that we do is we do constantly provide labor market information.
Yeah.
And if anybody's watching this presentation and they want more, call the main number, ask for me, leave a message. I'd be happy to provide the full slideshow presentation and keep them updated. A lot of businesses use this labor market data to plan. And a lot of our job seekers use this labor market data to figure out what skills are needed that they need to improve on, and also where the jobs are.
Okay.
You'll see in this particular slide that Quincy has their labor force is 55,000 plus. The number of employed people, the number of unemployed, we're running at about 5.4% right now.
So right on par with
which
the
is
state.
pretty much consistent with where the state is in this region.
Okay. The folks that are unemployed here in Quincy, are they retail, gig
You'll see
workers.
that in a couple of other slides.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Joe.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
But basically, you see the unemployment rate, in Massachusetts was at a high of over 11%.
Yeah.
Quincy reached a little over 8%. We're back down, almost all in sync, really, with what the nation, the city,
That
and
really
the
shows
state.
that we've followed the trend across
we have.
the country.
Yeah, we followed the trend across the country. But
This particular
Yeah.
statistic to me spoke volumes about what has happened in the workforce when it pertains to women.
yeah, so it clearly, through this data, demonstrates that more women have been laid off and are not getting back into the workforce.
Or had
than
to
men.
leave,
or
right?
had to leave,
To take care
correct.
of children
The
or elder adults.
Or elder adults,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, so you could see the high numbers there reflect exactly that.
Yes,
Exactly.
that to me is the biggest shift, I think, in the future going
Yes.
forward.
Yep.
Because that was the biggest shift during the war, right? World War II.
Yes.
Was when women entered the workforce
Yep,
and stayed
exactly.
there.
Exactly.
So
Yep,
we'll have to
yep.
see what the future holds.
So we
yeah.
have to bring them back.
Yeah.
So obviously jobs are in the following locations. You can see Quincy, there's a significant number of jobs that are being posted.
Yes.
This number is, I'll qualify this by saying
Yep.
that when an employer posts a job, they post one job posting, but doesn't mean that they might not be hiring 5 people. So the numbers that you see there
Oh.
could be actually significantly larger.
Oh.
Because when they post a job, and that's the data that we collect, we're only seeing one post, even though they might be hiring 5 or 10 or 100 people.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but Quincy clearly, there's a lot of jobs that are out there that are unfilled.
Well, it's the biggest community on
Yeah.
the South Shore, certainly.
And to get more information relative to that,
Yeah.
that's come into the Career Center.
Okay.
That labor market data is available.
Okay.
In terms of where specific
Where the actual
opportunities.
jobs are,
Yeah,
yeah.
where the actual jobs are.
Good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just a little incentive to come in and see you, right?
This one's interesting because it shows that the education level requested is still bachelor's degree.
Yes.
Okay. And in another slide, you're going to probably see that the number of people that are out of work right now are people that are high school and GED equivalent.
Okay.
So you could see that the openings are demanding more education,
Yep.
but yet the people that are unemployed don't have that level
education.
of
Okay.
and that's the reason why they need to come into our Career Center, and they need to be working with us to try to get additional training so they can hopefully get to the next level.
Because you can connect them with that education, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Skills. is
That's
another
where we
issue.
want to invest.
Yeah.
We want to invest. There's a lot of money that hopefully is going to be coming down through the legislature, and we're hoping that this is one-time money. So we want to invest it in training.
Okay.
We want to invest it in improving technology, and we want to invest it in one of the ideas I had recently was to create a mobile career center, so that people don't have to literally come into the Quincy Center or our Plymouth Center, but we could actually take a mobile center and go to town halls, go to schools, go to shopping malls, and connect with people on site. And that's something that, again, could be with this additional money that we're getting in, which is one-time money,
Yeah.
we could be investing in to kind of improve the way we operate.
It's not a bad idea. They
Yeah.
do it with job fairs already, right?
Exactly,
Go
yeah,
out to
yep,
like the library
exactly,
here
yeah,
and other
yeah.
places, sure.
So you see in this chart the skills that clusters that are most requested by employers
Yep.
in our region, and you see what leads the league there big time is customer and client support. It's interesting how we collect this data. We really have a team of folks that work part of our workforce board that are constantly mining all the data that's out there
Yep.
and providing these kinds of charts and things. So
When you say customer service client support, are we talking in the retail industry?
yes,
You are.
primarily.
Okay.
Yeah, primarily. Although that's shifting a little bit too, because you've got one of the major employers that's come into our region is Amazon.
Yes.
So normally you think of retail as like storefronts,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, because now Amazon is lumped into retail.
So online is part
that's-
of retail now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of sort of changing those numbers and setting them off a little bit, because people kind of get the impression that, well, retail is like me going into the plaza
Yeah.
and getting a store at one of the storefronts. No, it also includes, and that's why there's a lot of jobs in retail right now, because it also includes these warehouse jobs that
Okay.
are coming online.
Good to know, because I was going to ask you about that. What does the future of retail really hold with all of the online shopping? But
Yeah.
if you include
Yep.
The virtual world, then
Yep.
then there is opportunity.
There's
there.
opportunity,
Sure.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the next one. It's skills most requested.
Yeah, so again, and some of these skills that are being most requested are things that we could actually train people for in our Career Center.
That's really good to know.
So if
Okay.
people are lacking in some of these skills that are most requested, they could come in, again, plug in as a customer and be able to get free workshops
Free
that
is
are going to
key.
help. Free
Yeah.
is key.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's free in the sense that all of this is your tax dollars
That's right.
at work. I mean, it's we're not somebody's paying for it, right?
Of course,
But it's
yeah.
the people that are paying for it, and it's the tax dollars, and we try to use those
Yep.
as best we can. And that's just a continuation of the skills that are most requested by workers.
So office skills, obviously, computer skills, at least
Yeah.
basics, right?
Yeah, yeah.
are
Oh, absolutely. And
almost
again, that's
mandatory, yeah.
where, right now, where people are in between the times, people that are struggling with English, we want to try to train them to speak English. People that are struggling with the computers, we want to give them that training to be better, because that's going to make them a better candidate for a better job.
Right.
So that's where our focus has to be right now.
Okay, all right. How many folks do you find, Ron, have decided to retire early? They're at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just
I
a few
can
years
give
down
some
the road.
anecdotal. I mean, my wife works for Bank of America. She heads up a technology team, and more than half her team has already retired
Half.
or moved on to other jobs.
Okay.
Our allocation is based on the unemployment rate. So when our unemployment rate skyrocketed, our allocation went up. So I'm hiring actually more people to meet this additional demand.
Okay.
But I faced the same problems.
Yep.
So we were looking for a communications coordinator, and we narrowed it down to 4 people. By the time we got to interviewing those 4 people, 3 had already accepted another job, and 1 had a job offer pending that they took instead of taking ours.
All right.
We're trying to hire a counselor that is multilingual, so we have the Cantonese and Mandarin and Vietnamese. I had a person all lined up, took the offer, and 2 days later he calls me up. He says he's got a better offer, so he's going someplace else. So the same problem that employers are facing, we're facing too locally.
Yep.
And it's a serious problem to try to resolve.
It's the workers are in charge right
And the
now.
workers are in charge.
Yeah, yeah. Let's take a look at one more graphic.
Sure.
This is pretty telling, I think, too.
Okay, so
these are where the
this-
jobs are.
Yeah, these are where the jobs
Yeah.
are, and you could see clearly these are where the jobs are in the South Shore
Yes.
area, and basically there's some really good opportunities out there that exist, and again, if people are falling short, we're trying to pivot to providing more on-the-job training kinds of opportunities, more apprenticeship types of opportunities, so we could try to get employers to want to invest in somebody that might not necessarily meet their skills,
Yep.
but they could train them on the job, or we could provide them with additional training to lift them up to actually meet those skills.
Okay.
I think one of the slides you didn't show was one of the other demands, which is communications.
Communication skills.
Communication skills, yeah. That's in high demand right now across the board. So that provides, like you, for example, an opportunity to either negotiate for better pay or to get a better job if you want, because communication is very high in what employers are demanding with people in terms of skills.
Oh, maybe they're listening at the front office. Ronnie. After the show, we'll have to have a little chat.
We'll have a little chat, yeah. Well, that's what's happening now. People are negotiating.
Well, right,
and,
yes.
and you get all these bonuses that are being offered and so forth because people are desperate to attract people. So, it is actually lifting people up. I mean, we've had a lot of jobs that were created over many years that were those low-wage
Yes.
paying jobs. And now we're seeing that, people have to step up and pay more money if they want to get people to come back and work.
What does this mean, do you think, for the future of unions?
I think that there's definitely an opportunity there for them. I mean, obviously, to step in and to organize and to advocate for people, so we can be raising that minimum wage or getting people better working conditions. I mean, those are things that the unions traditionally fight for all the time, right? Better wages, better working conditions,
Right.
and so forth. And I think there's an opportunity for that.
Okay.
You're going to see I think you see a lot of people that are not going back to work because they don't want to go back to the job they had.
Right.
And they want a better job. So come to the Career Center. Let's explore
There's
the
a lot of
possibilities.
reassessing that's going
Exactly.
on, and
Exactly.
reprioritizing,
Yeah.
and it's going to play out, I think, in the future.
It's going to take time, I think. We're sort of beginning this new industrial revolution now, and the pandemic kind of was the catalyst for moving things into the future.
Another
of work.
question I wanted to
Yeah.
ask is, do you see a future for, this was a manufacturing-based economy in the United States for years before kind of it went to a service-based economy. Yeah.
Manufacturing is still strong in the South Shore, and there are so many manufacturing opportunities that we're trying to direct kids into with the career path today. that we need to pursue those opportunities. It's not all about a college education. There's some real good opportunities in manufacturing in the South Shore if people want to get trained and people want to pursue that. They pay really good money.
And the trades too,
and
right?
the trades,
There's going to be a high demand, I think, for those going forward as well.
Construction.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Matter of fact, just today, some students over at Quincy High School are starting to build a tiny house.
A tiny house.
Yeah, in collaboration with some local companies that have funded that to, build up their construction skills. And build a house.
Yep. We're working right now with a reentry program that's been funded by the Office of Public Safety and also by ComCorps.
Yep.
And we're trying to get people back into the workforce that are coming either out of Norfolk or Plymouth County jails.
Okay.
And the unions have stepped up. We're working on programs that are going to get people into those apprenticeships and ultimately lead to a really decent construction job for them. So.
But the big news is the Career Center is back open in person.
Yes.
Give you a call.
Yeah.
Stop by, visit Monday through Friday, 1515 Hancock Street.
Absolutely.
Great to see you, Ron.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it. We'll be back too.
Okay, absolutely.
Just enough time to check the forecast for you again for the rest of the day today. Kind of what you see is what you get out there. It's gray, it's damp, it's off and on showers. It's cool, around 60 degrees. The rain will move back in late tonight. It'll be heavy too, down to the mid-50s. That sets the stage for our nor'easter tomorrow. Wind, rain, maybe some local flooding, low 60s. Still kind of messy on Wednesday and a little better on Thursday. Thanks again to Ron Iacobucci for joining us today. Thank you to our crew, and thank you for watching. Friday in the program, John Yaswinski's here from Father Bill's and Mainspring. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.